Assalamu Alaikum wa rahmatullah, and welcome to another video on Silent Hill 2 Remake. This time we're taking a look at the Silent Hill 2 Remake Essentials mod, which someone recommended to me on my previous video. Thank you so much for that, by the way. And it should help us improve the performance. But first we'll take a look at a kind of a before and after performance, and we'll see how it goes. We'll take it from there. And these are my settings in the game. We're going to keep these consistent throughout the game. We are running at 1080p. We are running at FSR 3, just to show you that, at performance. And we're running at the low settings. Okay, this is the low setting preset. Last time I was running at medium preset with shadows and effects set to low. This time we're just straight up running at low. Also, I don't know why there's so much stutter going on. I just want to say that. I believe I deleted the cache, AMD cache, graphic cache, but so it's almost like I'm running the game for the first time. But that's some insane stutter that's happening. I think it's doing something in the background. I don't know if it's compiling shaders or what it's doing. I hope that's gonna be okay, but yeah, we'll see about that. So there we go. That's basically the graphic settings, and we'll see in the video. Let's see how it goes. So we're gonna briefly take a look at the starting area. This is before the mod was applied, and just you know, I'm gonna walk around a little bit, going from here through the forest, because this area seems pretty intensive. One of the most intensive areas in the game, especially at the start. So yeah, the performance, as you can see, it's kind of in the low 30s. Sometimes it can go to high 30s. But mostly it sticks to around 30 FPS-ish, and we did see a dip there to the 20s. But yeah, a bunch of stutters too, quite a lot of stutters, but that's just, you know, Stutter Hill in a nutshell. What can you do about it? Yeah, I mean, other than that, in my opinion, it is quite impressive that it can run on the ROG Ally at this kind of visual quality. And we do occasionally see kind of a jump in FPS too. But that's more or less it, you know. And as we reach near the save point, you know, the FPS they're basically okay. Like, you know, there's kind of no room for any dips essentially right now, which is a bit of a shame. Like, you can lock it to 30, but it's going to dip under 32 occasionally. So there you have it. Moving on to the mod performance, we do see kind of an immediate increase in FPS, though not by a lot. We're going to do a side-by-side comparison in a second as well. But we do see a couple of frames higher, literally like a couple, like 2 frames higher. Um, and this is not necessarily a trend moving forward, but yeah, we do still see stutters kind of in those exact places. Which is quite interesting to see, which maybe is traversal stutter, like maybe there's something loading in here. Then, you know, maybe that's why that's consistently happening. But all in all, it's, you know, it's kind of the same thing, really. We're going to have to see if this trend kind of continues later on. But yeah. And with a side-by-side comparison, you can sort of see the differences. The frame time graph more or less is the same, surprisingly. I do think it's slightly improved, but yeah. And the performance is kind of improved, almost 10% sometimes on the upper end, but mostly it's around 5%-ish. So it's not bad, especially in this area. It's almost 10% improved, you can see. Not bad. As I don't really have any save file at the moment because I finished the game already, I figured I'd use this as sort of an indoor area. This is kind of at the starting. Let me know if you guys are interested in kind of a different indoor area. Some, you know, some, for example, like the Woodside apartments and the Blue Creek apartments and stuff like that. But you can see the performance here. Indoor performance, surprisingly, at least from what I'm seeing, seems to be pretty decent. I mean, it's relatively playable. You do see a lot of indoor areas in this game. So I think that's definitely a cause of concern. But this is kind of in the starting area of the game, you know. So maybe you'll see some more stuff later on. Also, wow, I did really good this time. I think I was confident, you know. I remember being confident when I was recording. Uh, This is kind of voiceover Yasin though, so you'll have to bear with that for a bit. Yeah, so far, I mean, the frame time graph is relatively stable. The game is running surprisingly well. And I kind of left the cutscene here as well. Uh, might skip through it a bit, but just to show you kind of a quality comparison too, you guys can sort of see the quality comparison too, and sort of his side by side as well in a way, uh, in terms of performance. Performance wise, the cutscenes are more or less the same, but you might notice, just to sort of look more into this, that it actually uses kind of, I believe, actually, no, it's already using quite less wattage during cutscenes. That's quite impressive. And now with the mod, immediately we see a quite a huge FPS jump. At least I was surprised when I saw that. But it kind of turns out that it was, you don't always see that significant of a difference in FPS, but I think any improvement is welcome. And I think the trend kind of continues with like 10% ish more frame rate. But we're gonna do a side by side real quick just to check. So not the best side by side comparison, but uh, here you can see the left side is the before mod footage and the right side is the after modded footage. And honestly, if you were to kind of do a blind comparison, there's really no difference. I mean, the FPS are more or less the same in this very specific situation. But now you can sort of see FPS improvement right after that battle. We do see quite a few, a couple FPS, almost from 747 to around 50-ish, which is a welcome improvement. Not always, though, especially in this section, as you can see, in this not so perfect side-by-side view. But definitely something to keep in mind. And in this cutscene as well, again, this is not perfectly aligned, but you do see kind of a power comparison where you're going to notice, I think, constantly a... Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, there really isn't much difference. I think we see slightly lower wattage on the GPU and the CPU, but you do kind of see at this point, though, that there's less wattage on the GPU and the CPU, especially near the end of the cutscene, where we see kind of it jumping to 20 almost on the left side and 17 on the right side. So could be a difference. And finally entering Silent Hill. Silent Hill itself, this is just, again, the starting part of the game. We're seeing quite decent FPS, honestly, in this area. I'm surprised, even without the mod, that's kind of my findings from the original game. And huge stutter there. Wow, you would almost think the footage stopped, but that was an actual stutter. Um, yeah, so it's pretty good. Notice the textures on the floor in this area, the road, because in the with the mod, I believe it seemed kind of much more flat, much more kind of like void of detail. So you are probably going to see some minor things, but I don't think it's going to be anything major that is going to affect your graphical experience or gameplay experience in any way, shape, or form. And yeah, and I do believe the mod does offer a decent improvement. Like, again, from my findings, I'm only seeing 10%, but depending on your settings, you could get a bit better, maybe at lower resolutions to squeeze out more performance. Um, yeah, honestly, not bad at all. But this is just without the mod, and so far it's doing pretty well. Honestly, the game is relatively playable. And now with the mod, and immediately you see your FPS go from like 45 to like 49 and even 50. So like I said, almost a 10% improvement, slightly higher in this case, which is pretty impressive, for this mod. But you don't always see that improvement. Like in this section, like that improvement is there, just not always. And look at the floor. Maybe you notice, I don't know if you do, but it does feel far more flat. Like it looks far more flat. Like it's missing a lot of those kind of specular details before it had more roughness details on it. But this is kind of me nitpicking, you would even say, considering we're just trying to get as much performance as possible out of this. But it's quite a welcome improvement always. Not a huge improvement, not a significant improvement. But like I said, it could help you if you were to lower your resolution, maybe target 900p, 720p. Possibly you could get a bigger jump, a bigger improvement in performance, maybe even 20%, maybe 30%. But yeah, so far, not bad. So that's it for today's video. If you like, please consider subscribing. And if you'd like to support me, my Patreon is in the description. And yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. This was quite an interesting one. I actually quite like doing side-by-side comparisons like this. I think this could be something I'd love to do in the future, especially. Yeah. Let me know what you guys think. And I'll see you in the next one. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.